Are you in that place in your life where you just started something and looking at what you have on ground, you are discouraged? Join me in today's video.
Miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you.
Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Ogenwadileora. This channel is all about dreaming again. When dream don't come to pass, what do? Dream again. Like I say, you dreamt before to be where you are today. If it didn't work out the way you want, dream again. You have the potential to dream again. Today, we'll be talking about little beginning. Life is structured in such a way that we have different beginnings at different times. At one time, you went to preschool, finished preschool, went to primary school. After primary school, went to high school, or what we call secondary school, depending on how the educational system of your country is designed. And if you attended all this also, it depends on individual. Some went further to university. And just life is like that. One time we start something, we finish it. Another time we start another. That is how God have designed life to be. And it's an example with God also. God didn't start the creation one day and finish one day. No. Day one, he did this. That day ended. Then day two, he did this. That day ended. Then day three, he did this. So God is also the same pattern God uses. So life is like that. We have different beginning at different time. Some start early, while some start seemingly late. And most often, when you start seemingly late, it puts you under a lot of pressure to achieve something on time because you feel you are running behind schedule. And most often when we feel we are running behind schedule in such a situation, we want God to do it fast. We want God to act fast. We want everything to fall into place fast. But unfortunately, God is not like us. He has his way of doing things, and he have different processes he might decide to take us, even though we seem to be under pressure. That's the topic for today, little beginning. Yes, there is a beginning, and most often this beginning might be little in our own eyes, because little is relative. People define little differently. So something that looked little to me, to another person might look big. A woman of God mentioned sometime that God does not throw up, but he lifts up. God most often takes us through process. Like say, if you're already under pressure of starting late, you want God to do it fast. But God is not one of us. He has his way of doing things. Therefore, we must abide under the care of God. We must follow his due processes. There are processes God have lined up, and these processes differs from person to person and from assignment to assignment. We tend to despise or look down on the little beginning because it looks like it's taking our time. There's nothing much to show forth. But God is telling us, do not despise the days of little beginning. In the book of Zechariah, chapter 4, verse 10, God told Zerubbabel, he said, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin, to see the plumb line in Zerubbabel's hand. He told Zerubbabel, he said, do not despise the days of little beginning. It might not mean anything to you. You might look at it and you feel like this is so small compared to what I want to do. He said, do not look down on the little beginning. Do not look down on your starting point. It might not mean more to you, but one thing I love that place told Zerubbabel, he said, the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. God is happy when you have started. God is happy when you started making move. Because he says, it's not by power, it's not by might, but he said, by my spirit. But God, heaven is celebrating you when you take that first step. Are you willing to obey God? Are you looking down at where you are at the moment? Are you looking down at where you are at the moment and it looks like you are heading nowhere? God said heaven is rejoicing that you have started the assignment. You have started that project that they gave to you. Don't be discouraged. The little beginning, say don't look down on it. So I want to look into three factors that are associated with little beginning. Number one is that in little beginning, you will make mistakes. You are starting. You've never walked that path before. I know you have gathered information. Like me, whenever I do something, if I want to start anything new, I like to research. I like to read materials. I also like to study those that have done it before, how they succeeded, how they failed, just to study the mistake they made so that I won't make the same mistake. I like starting and starting well. So to avoid mistake, most often I research. But I've noticed no matter the amount of research you put in, you will still make mistake. God is not saying that we should go and relax. Research is good. He equips you. He cut down on the mistakes. But as for making mistakes, you will make one or two mistakes. And most often we define these mistakes as failure. It's not failure. You are learning. Just like a child that is learning to walk. He or she will miss some step here and there. It doesn't make that child to be a failure. He or she is learning to walk. And the same way it is with us. You will make mistake. Don't define that mistake as failure. Secondly, you will lose things. In the process of making mistake, you may lose some things. It's not the end. Whatever you lost on the process, God is able to give you back. Don't be discouraged. Some of you might be money. Some of you might be friendship. Some of you might be some things you've built over the years. You can recover it again. So do not despise the days of little beginning. It will cost you something. That God is the one that spoke to you to start that project doesn't mean you won't face challenges. You will face challenges. And in the process, some things might go. Some things that are precious to you. God is still God. He still sent you in that process, in that assignment. Don't be discouraged over what you are losing. If you stay committed to the end, you will see that whatever you lost is nothing compared to what you will achieve at the end. The third thing that is associated with little beginning is comparison. You look at your colleagues. You look at those younger than you. You look at those that you seem you've started before them, or those whom you look as if you are more intelligent than them, and it look as if they are going ahead of you. And here you are. It look as if you are making no progress. You compare these people, what they are achieving, and with yours. Maybe their testimonies with yours. It doesn't sync. And it look like yours is taking too long. Don't compare yourself with others. Don't look at others. Our timetables differ. We all have different assignments. A particular assignment or project may take somebody 1 month or few months to achieve. To another person, it might be years. Based on our individual built up. It's not about intelligence. It might be some issues in your life that God wants to deal with first before he lifts you to that place where you want to be. It might also be that because of where he's taking you to, God is taking his time based on what he wants to build in you and through you. Another issue with comparison is that comparison blindfolds. It blindfolds in the sense that sometimes it makes you see what the other person is achieving and not seeing what you are achieving. On this area, this person is successful. What of the other area? Comparison is also one-sided. You are not seeing the other aspect of the other person's life. With God, there's nothing like sudden success. For every success, somebody have paid a price for it. It might not be the direct person, it might be somebody before that person. And also, like say, you are seeing only the success. You are not seeing the other side. What this person have passed through, what he or she is still passing through. In Psalm 126, verse 5 and 6, it says, I'm reading from the New Living Translation. It said, those who plant in tears will harvest with shouts of joy. They weep as they go to plant their seed, but they sing as they return with the harvest. It said, those who plant in tears, they will harvest with shouts of joy. When they were sowing in tears, they weren't shouting when they were sowing. They were weeping and crying quietly. But now they are returning with the harvest of joy with shouts. As they are shouting, is drawing attention. People are seeing their shouting of celebration of the harvest. How many people saw them when they were sowing in tears? That's a comparison. is one-sided. You don't know the price that person have paid or is still paying for that thing he or she is doing. And you are only seeing the success. You are only seeing the shout of joy. Don't compare yourself with others. Sow now in tears. Tomorrow also you will come back with shout of joy. Comparison blindfolds. You make you see only where you are not making it and where the other person is making it. It's one-sided. You see only the success of that person without seeing the trouble and the pains or the price they have paid. There's no glory without a story. Every story has its scars. Maybe if you talk to that person and if they will open up to you, you see how many scars they have underneath that glory. It costs them something. It will also cost you something. So with patience, trust God. It's a day of little beginning. It doesn't look significant. Just like when you plant a seed, when the shoot is still coming up, it just looks like a shoot. It's just a small plant. But when it now blossoms and you start harvesting the fruits, it's such a joyous experience. Running behind schedule can be frustrating, but God doesn't run on our own timetable. And we can't push him to do things out of his purpose and timing. Therefore, it is our duty to develop patience and work with God by his own timing. Most often, because we are impatient, we look for a shorter way and faster way to achieve our purpose and dream. And truly, most often, this shorter way actually ends up becoming a longer way filled with sorrow and pain. And God doesn't want us to follow that process. Trust God. Be patient. Enjoy the little beginning. He said, don't look down or despise the days of little beginning. Little beginning teaches us a lot of things. T.D. Jakes always say, enjoy the journey. Because at times we want to get to the destination before we start celebrating. He said, no, enjoy the journey. There are some things that when you think you've hit the points now, when you think you've achieved that dream you want to achieve, there are some things you used to enjoy in little beginning that you can no longer enjoy. It may be time. It may be that fellowship with people you are despising. Tomorrow you will cherish them. Tomorrow you will wish you had that time. I know you want to grow big. I know you want to hit it. Enjoy the time of little beginning. Do not despise it. It is difficult. I have been there, and right now as I'm speaking to you, I'm also in that place of little beginning, of starting something new that doesn't look like what I had done before. Don't despise the days of little beginning. God is happy that at least you have started. Heaven is rejoicing to see the work begin. And he told you, he said, it is not by power, it is not by might, but by my spirit, says the Lord. You are sowing in tears. Tomorrow, you will come back with shouts of joy. Not many people are seeing you now with your tears, but when you start shouting, it will draw attention, and others will come to celebrate with you. Continue sowing in tears. There is a harvest at the end. Continue trusting God. Continue doing what you are doing. There's a reward waiting for you. Don't give up on that dream. It may look dead. It might look like every other thing is gone. I want to encourage you today. Keep keeping on. God is on your side. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, bye.